80,000 people went completely silent. The penalty had been awarded. The whole world knew what was coming. One kick, one goal, and Lionel Messi would own the greatest individual record in the history of the World Cup all by himself. He walked up to the spot. He stuttered in his run-up. He struck it. Wide right. Not saved, not close, wide. And for 30 full minutes after that miss, in a stadium in Dallas on a Monday afternoon, the entire football world sat with the uncomfortable thought that maybe, just maybe, the moment was going to escape him. Then the 38th minute arrived, a cutback, his left foot, bottom corner, and Lionel Messi collapsed to his knees on the grass in tears. Not tears of joy, not the relief of breaking a record, something much deeper than that. Something this tournament had not seen coming, and something that made what happened in Dallas on the 22nd of June 2026 one of the most human and extraordinary sporting moments in living memory. This is the full story of the day Messi became the greatest World Cup scorer of all time, and why the number 18 means so much more than anyone watching could have known. Let us start with what the world could see, because the football itself was already extraordinary before any of the context arrived. Argentina versus Austria, Group J, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. A match that was always going to be about one thing above everything else: the record. Messi had gone into Monday sitting on 16 World Cup goals after his hat trick against Algeria 6 days earlier. He had tied Miroslav Klose, the German legend who had set the mark at the 2014 World Cup with 16 goals across 4 tournaments. A record that had stood for 12 years. A record that every serious analyst of this sport had assumed would stand for a generation. Messi needed one goal to own it alone. Austria fouled Lautaro Martinez in the penalty area in the 9th minute. The referee pointed to the spot, and the weight of what was about to happen settled over the entire stadium in an instant. This was the moment. Messi stepped up to a penalty kick at a World Cup with the chance to break the all-time record. On paper, the simplest path to history you could draw. The stutter in the run-up, the strike to the right, the ball curling wide of the post. In the stands, Argentina supporters buried their faces in their hands. On the Argentina bench, the technical staff looked away, and Messi, for a moment, just stood there with his hands on his hips, staring at the ground. What nobody in that stadium knew in that moment, and what Messi would reveal after the final whistle, was that he had arrived at this match carrying something far heavier than the pressure of a football record. His father Jorge had been unwell, undergoing medical treatment for an undisclosed illness in the days before the Austria game. Messi's family had asked the media publicly for humanity and privacy around the situation. And Messi, being Messi, had said nothing publicly. Had trained, had shown up, had walked out onto that pitch and prepared to play a World Cup match while carrying the private weight of a parent being sick at home. When the record-breaking 17th goal went in off his left foot in the 38th minute, when the ball crossed the line and the stadium erupted and his teammates buried him, when the moment that football had been building toward for 20 years finally arrived, Messi fell to the grass and wept. And when the reporters asked him afterwards why he had cried, he told them the truth. He said he had had some tough days, that it was not related to football, that those feelings had been building inside him and the goal was the moment they came out. He thanked his teammates, his coaching staff, and the entire delegation for helping him through it. Read that and sit with it for a second. Because the most decorated player in the history of this sport, in the moment he broke the greatest individual record the game has ever produced, was crying about his father. Not the record, his family, his father. That is Lionel Messi. That is who this record belongs to. But the story did not end at 17, because nothing about this man ever does exactly what you expect. In the final seconds of stoppage time, with the match already won and the record already broken, Messi received the ball one more time on the edge of the Austria penalty area. His first shot was blocked. The ball came straight back to him, and somehow, impossibly, he threaded it through a crowd of Austrian defenders into the net. 18. 2 goals, the record broken and then extended in the same afternoon. And with that second goal, Messi did something that nobody had previously discussed as a possibility. He passed Brazil's Marta, who holds the all-time record for goals in the Women's World Cup with 17, and became the highest scorer in the history of the FIFA World Cup across both the men's and women's tournaments combined. 18 goals, across 6 World Cups, spanning 20 years, against 42 different nations. Now let us go through exactly what 18 means, because it is the kind of number that sounds clean until you understand the full weight of what it took to get there. The first of those 18 goals came on June 16, 2006, Germany. An 18-year-old Messi came off the bench against Serbia and Montenegro and scored with the ease of someone who had been doing this his entire life. The world saw it and immediately understood that something different had arrived. 20 years later, almost to the exact day, he opened this 2026 World Cup with a hat-trick against Algeria, and the first of those 3 goals came in the 17th minute. 20 years between his debut World Cup goal and the hat-trick that took him to the record. 2 decades of showing up, 6 tournaments, 6 chances to add to that tally, and never once failing to score at a single one of them. 12 of his 18 goals came after the age of 35. 12. After an age when most players have already retired or are winding down. What Messi has contributed to World Cups after turning 35 is more than Harry Kane, Cristiano Ronaldo, Diego Maradona, Rivaldo, Neymar, and Thierry Henry have scored in their entire World Cup careers. The best players in the history of this tournament cannot match what Messi has done in the last few years of his. That sentence does not make logical sense, and yet it is simply true. He has scored in 6 consecutive World Cup matches, a streak that only 2 players in history have ever matched. Just Fontaine for France in 1958 and Jairzinho for Brazil in 1970. Players from a different era of the sport, when the game looked and felt nothing like it does today. Messi is in that company now. His 24 total goal contributions at World Cups, including assists, puts him ahead of Pelé. His 8 World Cup assists tie him with Diego Maradona for the most ever recorded. Simultaneously, the greatest creator and the greatest scorer in the history of this tournament. Both records, one player. And Kylian Mbappé, who is 27 years old and scored twice himself on Monday in France's 3-0 win over Iraq to reach 16 World Cup goals, is the next name most likely to challenge this record. He is extraordinary. He is relentless. He will almost certainly play at least one more World Cup after this one. And he still needs 3 more goals just to tie what Messi now owns. 3 more goals at this tournament, where Argentina and France could yet meet to draw level. And then however many more in whatever World Cups come after to actually surpass it. Messi's coach, Lionel Scaloni, visibly struggling to contain his emotions after the Austria match, said that people need to enjoy watching Messi because when he is gone, there will not be another one. His teammate Rodrigo de Paul, who has been alongside Messi through every major Argentina moment of the last several years, simply said that Leo gives everything for this team and everyone in the dressing room would do anything for him in return. And Messi himself, after breaking the record and scoring twice and crying on the grass and explaining about his father and then completing a 2-0 win that clinched Argentina's place in the knockout rounds, said that he had been angry about missing the penalty, that there were moments where the frustration was real, but that he was able to make up for it. As if breaking the all-time World Cup scoring record was simply the process of correcting a minor mistake from earlier in the afternoon. Argentina next played Jordan on June 27th in their final group stage game. Messi turns 39 on Wednesday the 24th of June. He will be 39 years old by the time Argentina enter the knockout rounds. A 39-year-old man leading the defending World Cup champions through the last 32 with 5 goals in 2 matches, the all-time record now his alone. His father receiving treatment at home and his tears landing on the grass in Dallas in front of 80,000 people. There is a version of this story that ends before the record, before the 17th goal, before Dallas, before this tournament. A version where the hamstring concern that shadowed his pre-tournament preparation got the better of him, where the missed penalty stayed missed and the match stayed goalless, where the weight of everything became too heavy and the record stayed at 16 and Klose kept it. That version did not happen. What happened instead is what always happens with Lionel Messi. The moment asks for something impossible, and he finds a way to produce it. 18 World Cup goals. The number belongs to him now, and based on everything this man has shown across 20 years and 6 tournaments and 201 appearances for his country, the question is not whether anybody will ever catch him. The question is whether even Messi himself is finished adding to it. So what do you think? Does Messi break 20 before this tournament is over and make the record genuinely untouchable? Or does the story find its perfect ending right here with 18? With the tears, with the missed penalty and the 2 goals, and the father at home and the whole world watching? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. A like genuinely helps more than you would think. And subscribe if you want World Cup coverage that goes beyond the highlights and tells you the full story. Football at this scale is never just a tournament. It is a moment in time. And right now, in Dallas, in tears, at 38 years old with his father unwell, and a record that nobody had ever touched now sitting in his hands, Lionel Messi is reminding the entire world exactly why there has never been anyone like him. And there never will be again.